Welcome to tutorial number 8 of Introduction to Statistics, testing hypothesis about the difference of means of two populations. Null hypothesis: there is no difference between the means of the population 1 and population 2, or the difference of the means is equal to 0. However, I have done hard work on these tutorials to make my students understand statistics better. This is test number 1 in year 2013 and test number 2 in year 2012. Think of these samples as random samples of two populations for which we will believe that there is difference. However, we will test the null hypothesis that there is no difference at level of significance 0. Alpha equals 0.05. To test this hypothesis, I will need to know something about the population. I will need to know X bar, which is the average for each sample. I will need to know standard deviation. And I will need to know the size of each sample. So this is sample 1 and sample 2. Okay, so sample 1, X bar is equal average of the range where my values are recorded. I have 27 units, 27 data values from C4 to C30, enter. And I will copy this value for the second sample. Excel is smart. And then equals standard deviation. You know this simple formula ST deviation. Again, I will scroll to select the range C4, C30. And we'll copy the standard deviation for the second sample. So the two samples obviously have different means and almost identical standard deviation. The number of cases in the first sample is 27 and 22. Now I want t-test and the t-test, and I would like then later on to see the critical t-value. But let me first show you how why I think that there might be statistically significant difference between these two samples, or between these two populations. With blue line, we have here the scores of my students in year 2013. These scores are partially result of video tutorials. And with the red line, we have the scores of my students in year 2012. In year 2012, I start using video tutorials after the second test. So before the first test, students have no video tutorials at all. And as you can see, there is difference in 2013. The blue line students are performing better. The question is this performance statistically significant? So to calculate the significance of this difference, I will need to use this formula for the t-test. This formula evidently has a numerator, which I can calculate very easy. The numerator is equal the average x1 bar minus x2 bar. So it's easy to calculate the numerator, but then we need to calculate the denominator of the same formula. And this denominator is a little bit more difficult. Well, I shall say quite more difficult. But now I will show you how to do this with Excel very easy. it is the product of two square roots. So I will put parentheses as a place value for whatever is under the first square root, and then I will put times, which is this star, sqrt, and place value for the second square root. Now the first square root has numerator and denominator, so I put parentheses for numerator and parentheses for the denominator. Then I will continue numerator n1 minus 1, 27 minus 1 is of course 26 times the standard deviation S1, S1 squared, ready, plus n1 minus 2, which is 22 minus 1, it is 21, times the standard deviation of the second sample squared. And everything under the numerator under the root is ready. Now the denominator is n1 plus n2, which is 27 plus 22, 49 minus 2 is 47. And the first root square is done. The second root square is very easy. 1 divided by 27 plus 1 divided by 22. Everything is done. Let's place. So this is it, and the t-test is equal numerator divided by the denominator. This is my t-test. It wasn't difficult, I believe. Now we have to do one more thing, and this is to find the t-value. Now for 0, you know that t-value has, for different values of level of significance, here in the middle is 0.05 level of significance, and this here is degree of freedom. I use 50 because in my table there is no 47. So the critical t-value is 2.009. Critical t-value is equal 2.009. And I will copy this formula for the t-test and we'll place it here. So you can see that t-critical is less than the t-test, my t-test in the area in which I have to reject the null hypothesis. So my final conclusion: reject the null at level of significance (0.05), which means that I may have 5% error, but it seems like students study better with video tutorials. Thank you and have a great day.